Hi guys, Chukwuemeka over here. Now, in my last blog, I mentioned that I'll discuss a bit more about how I wrote to my students in trying to appeal to the sense of understanding, the sense of emotional excitement. I guess in elegant adult language, it simply means build a rapport with them. You know, a sense of emotional attachments. Children need to do that. Now, I've got a letter here with me. I could read it, but I guess it will take some time. So what I'll do, I'll hold up on the screen. You can pause the screen if you want to read the letter. Then I'll just quickly go and read one of the students' response at the back of the letter, and then I'll discuss a bit more why I did that. Okay, right. So this is the letter. Okay. So if I move my hands out of the way, I just move it up slowly. Yeah. So you can pause the letter. You can read that. Okay, so anyway, so what was the response like? The student said, if you, excuse me, I'll just read it for you. All right, so it said, Dear Mr. Kowa, I understand the difficulty you must feel whilst teaching my class, but I assure you that we've not entirely been that bad. As I read your letter, I was actually surprised as no other teacher would have given their time to create a letter for all of his students. So thank you, sir. The cause of our behavior issue, I think, is mainly because of the seating plan. I realized that the seating plan was organized by you so that you can have an idea how everyone, students' behavior and work strength. However, as soon as the seating plan is edited, students will be less likely to chat, argue, or even potentially fight. Furthermore, I don't think you should stop everyone for behavior announcements. This is because there are a handful of us who just want to work and carry on finishing the work. Again, sir, I'm very grateful you have organized this, and I do apologize on behalf of the class for our behavior. Yours faithfully, student's name. Okay, so a number of things happening here. First of all, what is abundantly clear is that the students was quite appreciative of the fact that I took time to appeal to the sense of understanding, recognized that they knew each other better than I did, and could pull from their knowledge. Now, one of the things that I've always done in my teaching career is acknowledge that there are students in that class who do know, in any class, that do know more than I do in certain aspects. No teacher knows everything. You've got to let them know that, okay? So that when you ask questions, you learn, you feel free to learn from them. You have to feel free to let go and let the student take control. It's part of what we're trying to do, independent learning, isn't it? On top of that, one of the things that happened, and which was very clear in the letter, was students felt that my seating plan was at the center of some of the issues that was happening. Because this was a very disruptive class I was parachuting in right at the start of the year, probably a second, third lesson, and so I had to quickly find a way to get to know who were the main players, who were the learners, who were those needing support, and there were a lot of strong characters and personalities in that class. So the students here who wrote one of the responses I got pointed out that, well, my sitting plan wasn't ideal because there are some people who had personal conflicts that shouldn't sit together. There are those that are very chatting, there are those that are very independent working. So what I did, I appealed to them to tell me, okay, listen, since you know this, tell me who should sit with who. So based on what I knew about them, little about them, the information they gave me, I was able to reorganize the sitting plan and got a much better working situation with them. Now, another thing happened was the child felt that I was unduly holding back those who prepared to work. Now, obviously, at the start of the year, I didn't know who these individuals were. One of the advantages of the new seating plan was that I quickly got to know, well, there's a set of students who could work no matter what the situation is. So I knew, okay, just let them get on with it. This now allowed me to focus on those who were creating the challenging scenario. But that was because I tapped into what the students knew so that I could get there quicker, as opposed to me spending several weeks and months getting to know them, getting to know their names, and all the other challenges that come into being a teacher or taking on a new class. That's what worked for me. Now, like I said in the previous blog, you got to figure out what works for you, okay? And I hope that was useful. In the next part 2 and part 3, I'll give you other examples of how I use the written word to appeal to the students' emotional need to focus and do better and understand what I'm trying to achieve for them, and for them to appreciate that what we're all there to do. Okay, anyway, take care. Bye bye.